Welcome back to Afternoon Express. We're live. We're talking money matters. We hope it didn't get too depressing. But at least there's some things you can put in place and some guidelines to help you make it through the year.
Absolutely.
We're still with Peter and Mai-Li. So, Mai-Li, just about debt. South Africans struggle with debt. How can people get out of debt faster? Somebody who's out there watching right now and they feel like they're drowning under debt.
I think the very first step is to be completely honest with yourself. Take stock of your assets, your liabilities, your income and your expenses. It's a case of if you stick your head in the sand, it's not going to go away. And that is what we find most people actually do. They ignore it and then they pretend it's not there, but it is. So once you've been honest with yourself and you know exactly where you are right now, you can actually determine a way forward. So I would say definitely if you're struggling to pay your debt, you have to talk to your creditors and engage with them as soon as possible. Also, obviously, the use of a financial advisor or the assistance of a financial advisor can help you determine exactly where in your budget you can maybe cut out certain expenses, because satellite TV is not a necessity as much as some people think it is. It's not. So, yes, that would be my advice.
All right. And take it from what Mai-Li was saying. Peter, what general advice would you give to South Africans during these, very tough economic times?
I think the first step is just don't panic. Don't panic. Just keep doing what you have to do. You have to keep investing because you have a future. As we are saying, the world is not ending tomorrow. We're still going to be alive. We still need to eat. So you need to keep investing. You need to keep skilling yourself, upskilling yourself, so that the opportunity, the market is changing, the world of work is changing. You have to keep reinvesting in yourself through all those up and downs. And as she touched on earlier, there are some things that you might think are necessities, but you might have to. Life is all about making choices, prioritizing certain things and letting other things go. In the short term, hopefully in the long term, you get them back.
Okay. Right. And, talking about things, before we throw it back to you, Mai-Li, what is asset class and why is it important for South Africans to know what it is?
Asset class, it just refers to, I think the market was struggling about all this. There are all these arrows coming from everywhere. So what do? You group these assets or so-called assets. Asset is anything of value that you would put value on. So you group them into certain, because they have different risks. They have different returns. It's the same way you have your basket of fruits on the table. You're going to have apples, you're going to have oranges and lemons. You have to make sure you're picking the right one, because if you pick a lemon instead of an orange, I'm sure you know what will happen after that. But so you got in that asset class, you got cash, you got so-called bonds, you got equities, which is simply a certificate that says you own a share of a certain company. Okay. That's what it is. So there are quite a number of them, but then they have different qualities of risk and return. So you have to choose one that suits your needs at a certain point in time.
Now, Mai-Li, it's very important for everybody to have a good credit rating, right? And it took me ages to understand that. But how do South Africans know when they're racking up too much credit?
I think it comes down to your personal budget again. As interest rates are increasing, the cost of debt becomes more expensive. So as soon as you feel that you aren't able to pay those, two categories that I spoke about earlier, the elements that protect your current lifestyle and the elements that savings for your future, then you are living above your means and you probably have too much debt. So I think it's important to always bear in mind, even if the environment changes and the economic outlook starts looking better, don't always increase your lifestyle. Don't just accumulate, because at the end of the day, when times are tough, it becomes more difficult to maintain.
All right.
So it's about giving yourself margin.
Absolutely. And I mean, with that said, Peter, you touched on this a little bit earlier on, but do you think we can turn this around? The economy, the value of the rand, and, all of this, because you said South Africans mustn't panic, but there's a little bit of panic in every single one of us.
Yeah, that's right. There are a number of things we can do, but if obviously, of course, I run the risk of, winning a soccer match from the bench, and with not being a participant in terms of implementing those things. But we have very good policies that have, people have sat down and they considered this, they thought about this, they looked at best practice elsewhere in the world. We got the National Development Plan. It's got very good recommendations on what has to be done. But unfortunately, in the short term, we've been pushed into a corner. We have been boxed to the extent that maybe the best we can do for now is to reduce those on goals. Those on goals, we need to reduce on that at least. That will put us in a better situation. Sure. And as I touched on earlier, there are bigger problems that are hitting all emerging markets as we are grouped together. So we are all in the developing world. So we have a number of things that are going against us. And if you just think of it this way, America is going to grow at more than twice our growth rate.
Yeah.
So think of it that way, and you can see where our problems are coming from, partly. Then secondly, we have certain domestic issues that we have to get rid of, and maybe we'll be in a better place. Sure. That's for the short term. Long term, we have credible proposals that have been put on the table. We just need to implement on those.
Okay.
Basically, stay calm and don't spend.
That's it. Just be calm, all right? Because everything is going to be okay. I'm loving this conversation with our financial experts today. If you do have anything to add or ask, use our official hashtag, Afternoon Express at Afternoon Chat on Twitter. Off to the kitchen with Jeannie D.
How you doing, YouTube fam? Thank you so much for watching, sharing and commenting. We love hearing from you, so be sure to keep up to date with all things Afternoon Express by clicking the subscribe button right here.